And you expect me to not call you out in the most respectful way possible and tell you not to disrespect me, but now you're turning it on me because now you have such a good rapport with all the managers and all the fucking staff that you think that you... Girl, please. I just wanna have fun. Come and beat me up.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Nat.
It's Nia, and welcome back to Full Figured.
We are on episode 16.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are just joining us, if you are in for all the episodes, we thank you for being here with us, and we will salute you.
Salute. We're going to start this off with a shot.
What are we taking a shot of?
Banal. So it's like an aperitif covered in dog hair. It's
Perfect.
An aperitif. It has like green chartreuse, some other stuff in it.
What?
It has chartreuse in it.
Oh, I don't know what... I see it at the bar every day, but I don't know what it is. So
it has a whole bunch of stuff. It's like very herbal.
Yeah, I tasted that for sure. We took one shot before this.
Yeah, and I was like, why not start the next episode with another shot?
Yep. So we just had chicken tendies, and we're gonna
cheers. She's so dramatic when she takes shots. But I'm not even going to lie. I snuck a little tequila in there, too.
I was like, why the fuck does this one taste so...
It's not that bad. That was fantastic, wasn't it? The drama.
The drama. Well, that's one way to get her done. Welcome. We're glad to have y'all here. So, I still have the taste in my mouth. I'm trying to distract myself. Okay, Nia made a bombshell announcement in the last episode. She dropped it on us. I was gonna ask her to talk about it, but I forgot, and then I was gonna stop her at the end and ask her about it to see if she would include it in the episode, but she just like kind of dropped it on us. She was very generous with her information and her personal life. So we're going to dig deep into that, and that she does not work at the same place that I work anymore. And we're going to kind of piggyback off of things from there. So, would you like to share or why you've abandoned me and why you hate me? It's literally because of me and she hates me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly why.
Yep. My stomach hurts after that shot.
So, I was ready to get out of there. I had a little bit of an altercation with one of our managers, and some of the information that they shared with me is that I had a very entitled demeanor. Like I came off very entitled to a lot of the different managers, and I was not, the way that I was came at was not a way that I hold on a second. Just hearing something in the back. The way that I was came at by the managers was not any way that you should like speak to a person, especially even if you're close to them. You just should not come the way that you came at with me. And we had an altercation back a couple years ago where I said, if you come to me the way that you did this time, if you come to me again the way that you did, I will leave. And so the same thing, history repeated itself 2 years later. And I was like, I'm ready. I'm just ready to go. You know, I need a different work environment. I'm not making a lot of money right now.
To deal with this bullshit.
Exactly. Our managers there at the hotel don't really take things with a grain of salt. Everything just feels very personal with them. You can't give them critique because everything that they do is so perfect, right? So it was just time for me to, get to a different work environment. And I went to HR and I told them that I was leaving, and I put in my 2 weeks notice, and they wanted me to do an exit interview. And during my exit interview, they were pretty much like, tell us why you're leaving. Don't leave anything out. And, in the most respectful way possible, I told them why I was leaving. I said that the only thing that kept me around so long is because of my bar team. Like, I've been leading this team for 2 years now. I'm very close with them. I've been sort of their lifeline for, 2 years now. I'm the reason why they have access to all the events, why they have all of the resumes and BEOs and all of that. That was because I initiated it and I was able to provide that for them. But now they don't have that anymore. So I was sharing all of this with HR during my exit interview. And then I brought up the last altercation as well. And, I brought up the fact that they called me entitled and the reason why, and just the situation at hand. And I was pretty much, telling HR that it just feels like a very divided team. It feels like managers against the bartenders, and that's not the way that it should be. It shouldn't feel like a divide amongst a team. Everyone should be working, very cohesively. Everyone should be working together so that we can have success. But it feels like we cannot come to our managers with frustration. We can't come to our managers with critique because everything that we tell them is not a discussion. Everything that we want to say, any opinions that we say, are completely thrown into the garbage because everything is not a discussion. I've gotten that more times than less. I want to be able to work in a space where I can speak freely and not be judged for speaking freely, especially because of the person that I am, because I'm someone that is so passionate about not just the work that I do, not just the cocktails that I put on the menu, but also, passionate about my team as well. Being the lifeline, I'm also speaking not just for myself, and that's something that the managers didn't realize either, that I'm speaking on something that multiple people are also dealing with as well, and have used me as, someone they can vent to. And the managers don't see that. They don't see that I'm trying to speak to them because they say that I come off so aggressively because I have a tone when I talk to them. I'm tired of being tone policed. So I was saying maybe I shouldn't be a bar lead. Maybe I need to take a step back. Maybe this isn't where I need to be in life, leading a team. So I after that altercation happened, I was looking for jobs the next day, the absolute next day, because I was like, I'm not going to work in this work environment where so many people want me to go. So many people, and speaking of people, I mean managers. So many managers want me out. And maybe that's not the way that they perceive it, but that is the way that it was perceived to me. Saying, having that manager during this altercation say, not only has this manager said you're entitled, but this manager has said you're entitled. This manager has said you're entitled. And I don't fully believe that. I don't fully believe that, but because you're speaking out of anger, because you're trying to get through to me, because you're tone policing me, you're just trying to lay as many bricks as you can on as fast as possible. So giving me all this information, saying that all these people say that I'm entitled, if you want me to go, just say that. And he asked me if I was happy right now. And maybe me speaking out of emotion, I said no. Maybe that wasn't the best thing for me to say at that time, but he said, if you're not happy here, maybe this isn't the place for you. You can leave whenever you want. I took that quite literally. So that's why I said the next day I was putting a mass amount of applications out on ZipRecruiter, on Indeed, on Now Hiring, all these places. And because I have some other friends in the industry, some other bartender friends, my friend contacted me the next day and he said, my manager just said that there was someone from your hotel that was applying for our steakhouse. And when I found out it was you, I told her that she needs to like hire you on the spot. And so I went in for like a quick little interview and they gave me the job right then and there. So I went in for a few days of training. I got the lay of the land, learned how to close the bar, learned how to open the bar, and that's where I'm at now. So it's just a different work dynamic. It's very fast paced. It's the first time that I'm actually working for like a steakhouse. I've done fine dining before, but this is the first time that I'm actually working for like a steakhouse. And like I said in the last podcast, it's not your daddy's steakhouse. So it's called vibe dining, where it's like there's a DJ playing on the weekends. It's just like, fun. They let me wear pretty much whatever I want. It's just like what I've been wanting for a long time. And even though I'm not able to express myself creatively, like through my cocktails, I know that I'll get back to that point at some time. But for now, it's just a place where I can, make a lot of money all at once and be able to, work for a different team, be able to work in a place that's very fast paced, which is what I want to do right now. So it's different. It is very different. I like the team that I'm working with. I do miss the team that I was working with at the hotel for the last 3 years. So I do miss it in some aspects, but my manager that I had the altercation with once again, he pretty much said to HR that if I wanted to come back at any point I could. But honestly, I don't think I would take him up on that because there's so many things wrong with that place, and the things that I've heard even within the last week, and I've only been gone a week and a half. There's just no way. There's no way the things that they're trying to implement on y'all is crazy. So what I heard right now, I was on the phone with one of our coworkers, and she was saying that they won't let y'all order food on the weekends. They won't let you guys order food from the restaurant. So that means that y'all can't get food while you're there in the restaurant. And the only window that you have is like between 3 and 4.
I didn't know that. I don't work on the weekends anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well,
are you talking about Saturday and Sunday or Friday?
Saturday. So they're not
I
letting...
didn't even know that.
Yeah. Between 3 and 4 is your window, but if you're getting there at 4, your window's closed. So you have a 3 to 4 window to order food, but you can't go off property and get food anymore. They don't want you to do that. They don't want you to...
Isn't that illegal?
It's also illegal to not be able to take a 30-minute break when you're working more than 6 hours. That's also illegal, but that's another conversation we can have during a different day. But yes, to not be able to provide food for your employees that are working
they're
for
paying
you.
For.
Yes. That's also another conversation too. And the fact that the hotel does not provide family meal. If you're not going to allow your employees to pay for food and you're not allowing them to go get food, then you need to provide them food. That's something that is like, that's mind-boggling to me.
I didn't know that was a thing. I'm also not there that much anymore. I'm there 2-3 times a week. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
It's just why I don't understand why we're trying to like implement all these new rules when none of them make sense. If you're not going to allow me to pay for my own food on site or off site,
that's wild.
Then provide it for me. Oh, but no, you can't. We're not doing that. But we have a market downstairs where you can get a bunch of processed snack items. You can get your Twinkies and your Doritos and your trail mix.
Yeah.
That makes zero sense to me because we don't want to eat like ham sandwiches and salads and string cheese and milk all day. Like, we're not in grade school.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, there was a whole, before I left the group chat, there was a group chat put out saying that you're not allowed to order food on the menu anymore.
I saw that you're not allowed to order the new menu items for the pop-up, but I didn't see anything. Like, I thought it just meant that you're not allowed to have like the prime rib and like all that shit.
But yeah, that message was sent out, and I was just like, that's crazy that you're not allowed to like order like even if you wanted to pay for like the tagliatelle or like some one of the pasta options, something on the menu, you can't do it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I honestly didn't.
Why are you putting so many restrictions? So now I have to pack my food. I have to spend an extra 30 minutes packing food because I'm sorry, you're gonna let me like microwave my food?
If so, for example, like if I'm on the rooftop bar, we don't have a microwave up there.
Mm-mm.
So, and do you remember when we got yelled at for like using certain shelves on the cooler for our food?
Yes.
There was like a sign that was like this one shelf is reserved for food. So we were even limited on where we could put our own food, like where we can refrigerate our own food.
Oh,
Which
but you can put your Mountain Dews in there
yeah,
and your string cheese on the
literally,
middle shelf. Yeah, please
it
be for
was
real.
so strange, and it's very strange to me. That's why I'm not really there that much anymore. I also, maybe by the time this airs, I will have a new job. I am actually probably leaving the bar industry for a while. I feel like I am over our hotel too. And everyone's gonna say like, "Oh, it's because Nia left, Natalie left," and that's fine if people want to think that. I've just the it's always, I've said it before, the drive is daunting for me. Whatever, this isn't about highlighting me, but the rules are crazy. I am just finding out about this whole thing and I am shook. But yeah, so if we have food, we bring in the food. I can't leave the upstairs. And there are days like yesterday that I worked the rooftop, and on the weekdays, you work solo up
Mhm.
there from 1 to 8 is, well, no, 2 is open, 8 is closed. But say you give an hour to closing, you're there from 1 to 9. That's 8 hours.
Mhm.
So if I bring something like dinner that I want to eat, I can't heat it up. I have to eat it cold. And of course, like, yes, bartending, we have a joke that we eat like raccoons over the trash can, stuff like that. But no one checked on me. Like, they just assume you're okay. Like,
Mhm.
they assume you're okay. They know who the strong bartenders are. I don't like to toot my own horn, but I am a strong bartender. I can handle my own. I don't call for help unless it's really, really needed. But, like, I would like to have some, like, I don't know, break,
Support
support.
something.
Like,
Yeah.
can you just stand here for 5 minutes and let me go eat in the back? Like, you don't have that. And, like, there is a back room, but you have to be vigilant and there if guests walk through the door.
Right.
And I can't go downstairs and go microwave my meal. That's not a thing.
Mhm.
So you're just eating cold meal right there. Like, I don't know, it's twisted. I had no idea about that though. That is
Yeah.
wild. I'm like, I know I keep saying it, but I didn't hear about it. I haven't been there that much. I had to crack my beer halfway through her story because I was stressed. Like, fuck. I had no idea.
Yeah, when I saw that message, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's time to go. We're not gonna sit here and be part of this any longer because you're not just gonna keep throwing on these new rules." And there was another rule where it's like with the POS system, they were saying that we're not allowed to tap cards anymore. Did you hear about that one?
No.
Yeah, they were saying if you're ringing in someone's like if someone gives you their card and you're putting it into the system to get their card on file, they were saying that you're not allowed to. You can only use a chip or you can only slide it, but you
Why?
can't tap it. They were saying there that when you tapped it, the signature line didn't pop up, and I was like, that shows you that y'all have no idea what happens at this hotel, what happens in any of the bar spaces. Because if you tap it, 100% the signature line will pop up.
Why would it be different? How is that different?
I was like, are y'all really like for
They
real
didn't
right
tell
now?
me that. So
I was like,
that's
that
why
makes no sense.
I was tapping all day yesterday. I was tap 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 in all fucking day with the cards yesterday. If there's a tap option, I ain't fucking sliding that shit. I'm tapping in.
It makes no sense.
I had no idea about that. No idea. I'm so out of the loop. Can you keep me in the loop? You're more in the loop and you don't even work there.
I've blocked the majority of those people, managers meaning. But something that I wanted to touch on with the whole like me leaving and going to HR with my exit interview, it was kind of my mistake. Like I said, I handled it in a very like respectful manner. Like I wasn't over here like dogging on these managers, being like, "Well, he's a piece of shit," and like this, that, and that. I wasn't doing all that. Like I was handling it in a respectful way. But to think that what I am saying is not going to be repeated back to the managers is my fault, and that's something that I wish I had known earlier and been able to speak to my team, because I know that members on the bar staff have went to HR multiple times. And so me saying all this is to say that HR is not your friend. HR is not employed by you. They're not here to, hear you out and like say like, "Oh, this information, everything that you tell them, I promise you will get back to management." They are employed by a corporate team to hear everything that you say and try to, I don't know, correct it in some way. So what you say will be repeated. We did surveys last quarter for the all of front of house. So front of house took a survey, and they had to bring down the corporate team, like the corporate people and culture team, to come and speak to us because we scored so low on all of our surveys. And everything that we scored low on was regarding to management, so, and leadership. So they came down and they had us speaking on everything that was said. And so they said, "This is an open place. You can say whatever you want." And so everyone is pretty much saying what has been happening with the managers for us to score so low on these surveys. No one was mentioning anyone by name, which I commend the team for doing. But we had a meeting directly after this meeting with people in culture, and our management team was like, "We know that you guys have just had a meeting with the people in culture team. So if there's anything you guys want to share, feel free." And I went directly into our group chat and I said, "Do not say anything to the management team. Do not raise your hand. Don't say anything." I put that in our group chat, and I was like, let the servers, because the servers weren't in our group chat, just the bartenders. But I said, say this to the servers that are here right now too.
I wasn't at the meeting.
Yeah, but I was like, say absolutely nothing, because they do not need to know what we told them in private. So whatever is said to HR, the only things that you need to be going to HR about is not to vent about managers, not to vent about anything. Do not go and vent to the HR team about anything. Only go to them if you are feeling discriminated against or anything that is involving like sexual harassment. Those are serious things that actually do need to be brought up and reported to HR. Everything else, maybe find a manager that you trust, which I know is kind of hard these days to find like one manager that you can tell anything in private and it won't be repeated. It's hard to find, but I promise you, if you start getting to know your managers, you will find that one. And if there is something that you do want to share, maybe go to them. But HR is not there to hear you out and be your friend and be like, "Oh yeah, no, you're safe with me." It's not that.
HR has failed me more times than I can count, not just at the hotel we work at. I had to learn the hard way in all of my times working. When I was younger, I never dealt with HR until I was probably like 23.
Mm-hmm.
And I got like a assistant to a director position in Alaska. And I didn't know what HR was about. So HR, human resources, is not for the people.
No.
It's to protect the company.
Yes, 100%.
That's what their job is. They are not protecting you. They're protecting the name of the company, the reputation of the company. So if they can try to squash it, they will. And by squashing it, I mean that's either your job on the line or they're just going to try to take it out of their own hands and just put you back into the managers.
Right.
And that raises a lot of animosity because if a manager does get in trouble or you're higher up for something they did, it depends what happens. And there's so much investigation. And if that person is allowed to work there while this is happening, you are going to have a target on your back. So essentially, you're not being helped. You're fucking yourself. And I've gone to HR plenty of times. In Alaska, when I didn't know how to deal with certain things, it was my first time in the professional world. I went to HR a lot because I genuinely, when you look up what HR is for, it is to help people. You think that they're helping you. They're not. And I was fucked over many times. I would go to say how unfairly I was being treated. I was exposed. I don't know if it was COVID, but I'm pretty sure. I don't share the story often. But before COVID, probably like the shutdown happened March of 2020. 2019, there was an infected plane of people that stopped I think it was from like a plane from Beijing or something came in and stopped in Alaska, and there was a lot of infected people. My manager got news of this, and I had to go to the airports to drop off brochures and stuff. She still made me go. And then 2 days later, I was picking up my husband from the airport, and I was seeing double, and I got so sick. My chest was tight, and it didn't feel like the flu. It felt like something I'd never had before.
Yeah.
And it was just wild. I reported it, no big deal. Like, didn't matter. I didn't know it was COVID. COVID wasn't really like everything was happening, but it wasn't like reaching so many. It wasn't like infecting. It wasn't in its prime COVID time yet. It was December, and then everything started shutting down in March, whatever. I was basically told that I was dramatic, that it wasn't anyone's fault but my own. If I had that decision to make, I should have made it myself. There was no making decisions by myself when I worked there. There was none of that. Like, I had to do what I had to do to keep my job. So that HR person made my life hell. She also was very unprofessional, yelled at me in front of people all the time. She was one of the ones I'd mentioned before. She always wore the tightest, craziest outfits. And then if I were to do the same, I would get in trouble. And one day we were wearing the same exact skirt, not literally, but the same style and stuff. I literally got sent home to change. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm not like other HRs. I'm like, you're the worst. Then, I went to... In North Carolina, I was working for the office. I didn't have many run-ins with HR, but I heard from other people that she had her favorites. She was always in the office with her favorites. So this one girl who was underneath her boss, somebody else, she went to go report him. She was basically out the door. Because that HR person was best friends with him. Lunch every day, whatever. They don't have your back. No. Here, I did go to HR once. It was the former HR lady.
Yeah.
She got the job done. She gave punishment to the manager. It was appreciated a little bit. But I know for a fact everyone knew I was kind of the rat. I was the one who complained because I couldn't take it anymore. I remember seeing Nia that day in the parking lot, and I was screaming. Do you remember that?
Yes, I
It was
do.
before the Beyonce concert.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like screaming, and I was like, I can't fucking take this. Like, it's whatever. So that was dealt with, and that was the only time that I was like, okay, HR did its job. But then when I heard I was sick during the meetings, I actually got the flu, and then I got like whatever. It was a whole thing. And I one of our coworkers called me to tell me everything that happened.
Mm.
And she was like, "Oh, within like an hour, they already knew." Cuz I guess there was a comment about something with scheduling, and this happens often. We won't find out about like schedule changes until like we get to work. And I live an hour away from work. So I need to know these things. Like one time they told me that I don't have to come in for another hour, and I was 20 minutes away from work. And so sorry, that was a whole thing. And so they said, I guess someone at that meeting complained, hey, we'd like to know 2 hours before our shift about any schedule changes. And the managers, I guess, after they met with you guys, brought that up. And they were like, so we're going to start informing you 2 hours before a schedule change or something?
Even that is too soon.
Too soon.
To think that, oh, I'm sorry, not too soon. It's too late. That's way too late. That's what I meant.
I knew what you were saying.
It's way too late to find out 2 hours, because think about if you're trying to like plan out your day, because the last time this happened, it was right before the influencer night, and they had us in at like 4 o'clock, and I was planning out my day. I was like, okay, well, between this entire hour, I'm like, I'm gonna go to this place, I gotta go to the post office, I can knock all this out in an hour. But then they changed it, and it was at that 2 hour mark. And I'm like, 2 hours is way too late. I don't care what you say. And with no communication either as to why you're having us in an hour earlier than what was planned. I cannot plan my day accordingly. I know that you guys have your set schedules and you guys can plan out your lives, but we can't do that when you're constantly harping in on our schedules and trying to change things. Right. Then we can't plan our lives accordingly. And that's something that I brought up with the manager as well. And whenever I'm like, there's a problem with scheduling, he's like, okay, I need an exact example of what you're talking about. Okay, sure. Well, how about when we were supposed to have our schedules out, and it was 2 days before the weekend, and we don't know what days we're working the weekend. He was like, oh, do you mean the day it was 4 days before and the schedule wasn't out? I said, you can say 4, but I personally know that it's 2. And then that was another example that he used, talking about like, I'm entitled because you're talking to these managers one way. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this right now, because I know that it's 2 days that you guys took before the schedule was put out. And when you guys are not letting us, plan our lives accordingly because the weekend schedule is out, because you guys have it the schedule is never consistent. Never. It's always, okay, if you're working these days, I can't guarantee that you're going to have this exact same schedule for next week. You might be off on a Friday, you might be off on a Saturday. But just because you worked these set days last week doesn't mean that you're going to work these days next week. And that's pretty much what I was trying to tell him as well, because I cannot plan what I have going on if I only have 2 days to plan it. Right. And so when you're putting the schedule out 2 days before, I can't live my life. I can live it spontaneously. Like I do that already, but that's too much for me.
It is too much. And on top of it, it's like the schedule is always published late, and they don't look at your availability. No. Ever. Like, I work at the gym sometimes Monday through Thursday, mostly Tuesday through Thursday at 4 a.m, which means I can't stay at the bar until 1 a.m. Every week I get scheduled Monday night till 1 a.m. And I can't do that. I cannot live that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then come in the next day, like to this job, and then roll right into the next. I can't. I did it this week, and I'm running on E. Like
Yeah.
I've been sleeping. My whole schedule's whack. Like I don't feel well. It's affecting my body, and I'm gonna say like that's why I've been getting so sick is because I'm not sleeping. I'm not being healthy, and they do not give a shit.
Nope.
They don't care. They'll blame you. Like I had a meeting, I haven't told you about this, where I was like, you ever get so frustrated you cry? I hate when that happens. I was crying like, and then I had to go into the back room and talk, and it was a whole thing. And I did get an apology, but they were trying to put the blame on me, saying your availability isn't in there. And I literally went, it's not, and my whole availability was exactly how I said it. You guys just can't override it. Choose to ignore it because you're pushing. That's what happens when you're not prepared. You push the schedule out.
Yeah.
If the schedule, like, and he was saying, like, I had to push the schedule out. It was already so late. So you just told on yourself by telling me you didn't care about anyone's availability. You just were like, I'm on a deadline. I'm just putting this out as is.
And the fact that they try to shift the blame, that's another thing that I really do
No
not like.
accountability. They expect accountability from all of us, but they take none themselves. And I did hear a funny story about you, Nia.
Mhm.
All in good. One of our bartenders that we love, his birthday's today.
Okay.
He told me that a certain manager said to you, you know I hate this, right? On your last day as you were leaving. And you go, you'll get over it. And just like walked away. And I just wanted to give claps for the queen because I thought I was peeing my pants. When he told me that, I could not stop laughing. And then another manager was like, I hope you're happy. And you were like, yep, hope you are too.
Because what the fuck? I'm so sorry. What the fuck would prompt you to say that when you know someone is leaving? Why would you fucking say something like that?
That's whack.
And she said it. She said it like this. She said, Nia. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I'm gonna miss you. I hope you're happy where you're going. Or she was like, I hope you're happy. I said, hope you're happy too. She left the room after that. Gone. Because what prompts you to say some shit like that? Really? Because you are a huge reason as to why I'm leaving too. Because you've been talking so bad about me and saying all these things when you get so worked up over the smallest blade of grass. I swear, like
Food being on the wrong shelf.
I'm saying, man, like, because someone didn't cut limes the way that you wanted them to cut limes. Oh, now I'm damn near tears because everything's so unorganized and you did such a shit job opening. But when I call you out and you start throwing shit and saying, Nia, you can leave, Nia. And you expect me to not call you out in the most respectful way possible and tell you not to disrespect me, but now you're turning it on me because now you have such a good rapport with all the managers and all the fucking staff that you think that you... Girl, please, get the fuck out of my face. I know you're
my
happy.
Theory on her. You know
I know it. I know it. And I've talked real good. One of the first episodes that we did, we talked so good about this manager.
I know.
The fact that it's flipped now and we're on...
But I did call it. I had a theory about her, and I'll share it.
You played me like a fucking fiddle. I'm so sorry to say it now.
No,
like a fiddle, bro.
I said it to 3 people. I said it to Nia. It took some time to say because I didn't want her to think that I was just being dramatic. Mm-hmm. But I did say it to several people, and then I talked to Nia about it when shit started going south with their relationship. I said, I think that this said manager did everything she could to win us over, this meaning the staff. She kind of put the other managers on the back burner and more was our friend. Before being a manager, she was our friend, right? So she won us over in that way. She felt if she could win us over, she can kind of then build her rapport, a good rapport with the other managers to be like, see, they love me. See, like I'm bossing it out. I'm doing it up. Like I'm working hard. I'm organizing the whole room. I'm sorry. Your organization does not mean, do I like an organized space? I do. If I'm making money, sure, I like it. If I'm not making money, I don't give a fuck about your organization. I don't. It was organized chaos before you got here.
Yeah.
We did well, like even when our old lead at the roof was up there, we had a great system going. Is it better now that it's organized? Sure. Are we wasting a lot of product and hoarding a lot of liquor that we don't need and keeping it from other bars? Also, yes. So I don't want to hear that this system is working and that we should, like, it's what I don't like about it is if you feel you need to fix something, do it. I should not be having to praise you because you organized and gave me cubbies. It's kind of like you expect me to suck your dick because you organized a space. And it's kind of like the analogy, and again, this is just an analogy, it's not the same thing, but it just reminds me of it. Like when I give money to a homeless person and I'm recording it so that you're like, oh my God, Natalie is the greatest. She gave money to a homeless person. Like, why the fuck are you recording that? Just do it on your own time. Be generous. Be good with God. Be good with yourself. Be happy that you did something and do it for your people. Do it for yourself. Don't do it because you want other people to praise you. I don't need to be held at some guilt because you organize this space. I'm fine with organized chaos. It was fine before. It was fine before you got there. It's fine. Just fucking leave it the way it is. I'm not going to suck your dick over it. And I'm not doing that. Fuck that. Like, I love an organized space. I do. But I'm not posting online every time I fucking clean my house once a month. I'm a horrible housewife. I'm not posting that I dusted my fan one time. That needs to be dusted, by the way. But I'm not doing that because I don't need your praise. I will do it on my own time for myself, for my family, for whatever I need to do. And that's that.
Yep.
I'm not sucking your dick over it.
All right. I wanted to go into our little, that was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much.
The next thing that I wanted to go into a little bit is about paying to park, because it's just like the fact that you guys are going out of your way to like charge people the prices that you do to pay everywhere is crazy. And like how much we pay at work.
$75 every 2 weeks.
Yes.
I should not have to pay to go to work. I already pay for the gas to go to work. I should not have to pay that.
No.
And it's just like hospital workers that have to like park 2 miles away and then get picked up by a shuttle. I get that you want to have patient parking for people, but you also have to provide parking for your people who are busting their ass for 12 hours a day, for 24-hour shifts, busting their ass to save people. Why are you making them park far away? Why are you charging us to pay to park? $75 is, that could be a shift for me on a really bad day. That is a shift on the rooftop. Like maybe even less. Like that could be a 2-day shift in January. I'm paying 2 days for parking there. That's ridiculous. And you got broken into in that parking garage. You've gotten dents. You've gotten scratches. I have too. I had shit on my side of the door. Human shit outside of my door. I had to crawl in the other side. And woe is me. I'm not homeless. Like I shouldn't complain. But it's still like the conditions and everything is not cool.
Yeah. Why am I paying $37 a paycheck? Like, I looked at my W-2 for last year for paying to park in the parking garage. I'm paying $1,000 a year. Literally looking at it, $959 for having more dents on my car than there are potholes in the road. That's absolutely wild to me, the fact that we have to pay so much. And I'm very grateful with this new job having them pay for our parking. Like, it's all free. They told us that when I first started, they were like, "Oh, you can scan this QR code, and
That's beautiful.
yeah,
Truly beautiful.
all we had to do is scan a QR code and we get free parking." And my eyes bulged out of my head. I was like, that's crazy that they're providing all of these things for us. They're providing, parking, providing meals every single day. I'm like, this is crazy, because the hotel would never. They're always trying to find some way for us to pay. And I'm just like, you're not, that's not cool. Like, I have no respect for that whatsoever. Saying that, oh, well, because you work for us, you get like a discounted price. I'm like, it's still coming out of every paycheck. So
Right.
what actually are you discounting me for? So,
And what is it paying for? The taxes are already so high. Like the liquor tax and everything on an $11 drink, you pay $3 in taxes to keep the city of Nashville clean. What the fuck else? Like, what is paying to park paying for?
nothing.
It's fucking stupid. We're supporting the restaurant. We're supporting the hotel. Like, be thankful. Don't fucking charge your customers and guests to pay all this money, or your employees. It's fucking twisted.
Right. Like, I think about this all the time. It's like when you're going to a bar and when you're going to a restaurant and you drive into one of these parking garages or one of these parking lots and you're paying the exact amount for parking as you are going to pay on dinner that night. Are you kidding me? Like, y'all need to calm down. Like, I really hope you're enjoying your Cancun trips right now and your, Puerto Vallarta trips. The way that you guys are nickel and diming us, I know y'all are making bank on these parking lots. Crazy, crazy prices. Because why am I Rudy's Jazz Room? I used to go there once or twice a week. Now I'm going there bi-weekly, one time, because they implemented a new pay to park in a parallel parking space, and you have to pay every time that you go into a show. I'm like, that's ridiculous. So the amount that you guys are charging me, because why do I have to pay $30 to park there for 2 hours? I'm like,
it's ridiculous.
That's like, a drink and a half. The amount that we drink and the prices that we go. It's like, why? I don't understand why you guys are charging these crazy prices just to pay. Because I'm like, if you were budgeting for going out for an evening and you have all these things that you're planning on paying for, you're not budgeting spending $30-$40 just to pay to park. And that's money that you could have used anywhere else.
And you're missing out on an experience because you're paying to park.
Exactly. And I just don't understand why they marked up the prices like that, why they're putting pay to park everywhere. It's like, we have to calm down. I'm like, at this point, I've promised myself, I'm like, I'm not going to pay to park. I'm not going to drive into a lot that's pay to park, because it's just Nashville. Like, I'd rather park in a free lot or parallel park somewhere and just walk everywhere, or take a scooter somewhere, something. But I'm just like not doing the pay to park because it's a scam. It's really is a scam. Everyone is trying their hardest to make some sort of nickel or dime on anybody. But us locals will not be fooled. We're not going to pay those prices. I promise you we're not.
Nope.
That's why we got such good calves, is because we walk everywhere.
Hell yeah, I'd be walking. Yeah, this was more of a rant episode, and we appreciate y'all listening to us rant. We hope you found some entertainment from it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that we left out on this episode, but that just means that you got to tune in for the next one, because there's a lot of things that we didn't cover that we're still going to cover. So
this is us baiting you
yeah
into watching us more. But thank you so much for tuning in to episode 16. We hope that you'll tune in for 17 and more. Definitely send us any requests you have, things you want to hear, stories. Send us your own stories. Let us know what you want to hear.
That's right.
Dia, where can everybody
Not
I
paying
know
attention.
that's right. Where can everybody find us?
So our Instagram handle is Full Figured Official. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. And if you want to watch our podcast, you can always watch it on YouTube. And if you want to stream it, you can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcast. So once again, we thank you so much for tuning in to us. We can't wait to see you in the new episode. And once again, we raise our glasses that are definitely very empty to you. There it is. See y'all in the next episode.
Thanks, y'all. We love you.
Artlist.io.
I just wanna have fun. Come and beat me up.